Hi guys, Black is here, and I got a little story to tell y'all today. Today is Friday. I was off. I had planned to get up, go get a shave, take a shower, go get a shave, fix a flat tire on my F-150. It's another video. Go to pull apart. Well, I was gonna work on my golf, but let me go ahead and get to the story. All right. A friend of mine called me and asked me to go with her nephew, to take her nephew to a Honda dealership in Carterville to look at a 2014 Mustang V6. She wanted to make sure he didn't buy a piece of crap. So now, I don't like to go with people to help them buy cars because they ask me to look at the car, and if I tell them it's a piece of crap, they still find a reason to buy the car. So why do I need to go? You're gonna buy the damn car anyway, so why do I need to go? So, the last couple times I went with somebody, this is what happened. I need a car, I need a car, I need a car. Okay, so I say to myself, what I need to go for? Well, anyway, we went to look at the Mustang. It was, it had like 66,000 miles. It was 2014. And so I had a suspicion already that the mileage had been turned back. Even though this is supposed to be a legit Honda dealership, guys, nobody buys a Mustang, put an aftermarket radio in it, and only drive 66,000 miles in what? 7 years. Okay, so the outside of the Mustang, it looked fine, looked pretty nice. I found on the left front of the hood, I found a little bubble mark where the paint had bubble. I guess it's starting to rust up under the hood, but that's not a big deal. No, I would not buy a car for that. So I told him pop the hood, don't start it up, pop the hood. I checked the oil, it was full of oil, it was clean oil. And I looked around the engine bay, and the engine, normally they spray that Armor all over the engine compartment to make it look new. Believe it or not, they didn't do that. If they did, it done dried up. Well, it's a 3.7 V6. Yeah, I know about the water pump can go bad and leak water into the oil or whatever. Yeah, I know about that. But anyway, on top of the valve covers, there's like solenoids for the variable valve timing. Well, I look down in the solenoids, and it's like grime down in all four solenoids. There's a little bit of grime. I'm sure they sprayed the engine off, but they didn't take the time to spray the grime out of this. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is there grime down in the variable valve timing solenoids? And the car only has 66,000 miles. So I opened up the oil cap, and I showed him the oil cap. I said, take the oil cap off and you look up under it. A lot of times they won't wipe this out. And if the person didn't keep the oil change, it'll have a little bit of sludge or dirt or grime or whatever in there, right? But it was clean. So we started the engine up. Car ran, it sounded good. He put it in reverse. It backed up good. We drove it and it ran fine. We got to the red light, and we're sitting at the red light, and the whole damn car is vibrating. Like the motor mount or something is bad. And we're sitting there, I'm like, and he says, the car ain't supposed to run this rough, is it? And I said, no, man, there's something wrong with it. I don't really know what's wrong with it, but there's something wrong with it. So anyway, we go to the gas station, we put some gas in, I popped the hood again, and I told him to start it up, but she didn't want him to start it up because she would pump the gas. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So we waited. So we get back to the dealership, and I tell him to pop the hood again and crank it up. And the motor is not shaking like something wrong with the motor. It's just vibrating, and I think it had a collapsed motor mount. That's what I think was wrong with it. So I'm thinking, like, if the car's got 66,000 miles, why would the motor mount be collapsed? Okay, something else I looked at was, I told him to look at the brake pedal. We looked at the brake pedal, and the brake pedal looked it looked smooth on both sides of the brake pedal. And I told them how to look on the right side of the brake pedal, because the person, you know, put the foot on the gas, they took the foot off the gas and they hit the brakes right there on that corner. Well, it wasn't worn down. As a matter of fact, I looked at my F-150 that's got 78,000 miles, and the side of the brake pedal is worn down. Speaking of that, my truck, again, is a 2016, so it's 2 years newer than that Mustang, and it got 78,000 miles. His Mustang, that Mustang is a 2014, and it only got 66,000. I even looked in the Kelly Blue Book, and I think it said it's supposed to have 78,000 or 74,000 or something like that, but it's got 66,000. Do I think the engine been turned back? I think so. I could be wrong, but I think so. But I do know this. Something is wrong with the motor mount or the engine. I think it's the motor mount, because the motor ran fine. I think it's the motor mount. But, and like I showed them the aftermarket radio. And I'm like, somebody put the aftermarket radio. And he goes, well, this is a high class. I think it was a Pioneer, I think. And he goes, oh man, this is a high class double DIN radio. I'm like, people who buy cars and put aftermarket radios in there are the kind of people who won't change the oil because they didn't make enough money this week. Don't change the oil the next week because they had a problem. Don't change the oil the next week because another problem. At the same time, they ain't checking the oil because I'm changing the oil next week. The car's running low on oil. Well, I'm changing the oil next week, so I'm not going to put any oil in it because I'm going to change it next week. He went ahead and tried to buy the car, but the problem was his credit wasn't good enough. So he wasn't able to get the car. I'm not going to say, y'all don't know who the guy is, but I'm not going to say how much money he had to put down, but they wanted, I think the guy said 5,000. Oh, by the way, they wanted like 17,000 for the Mustang. And they wanted, I think, $5,000 down for him because his credit was bad or whatever. He couldn't get anybody to co-sign for it. Now, I don't know the man well enough to co-sign for him. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and it gave me a chance to go look at a used car. And, you know, again, would I have bought the car? Not with this shaking, because like I said, I don't like to buy cars with aftermarket radios. I don't like to buy cars with aftermarket stuff like that because, again, people who put stuff in like that, they care more about the way the car looked than how the car run. But like I said, the car ran good. Otherwise, the steering wheel didn't shake when they put on brakes. The transmission seems fairly normal, but I don't know. Oh, something else. When we got back to the dealership, I was looking at the front of the car, and I noticed that the left fender, where the fender meet the hood, it looked like it was identical paint. But on the passenger side, the fender looked dull, like the clear coat was gone, but the hood was all shiny. And I'm no paint expert, but I'm looking at this. I looked at it like 3 times, and I'm like, something happened to the right side, you know. I even asked him to take a look at it, and I said, look at the left side. He looked at the left side, so you see anything wrong? He said, no, it looks normal. I said, okay, look on the right side. And right away, he said that the fender looked duller, you know. So was the car in a minor accident? He asked the lady, and the lady claimed, I'm gonna tell you what she said. He asked her, had the car been in a major accident? And she said, according to the Carfax I have, it hasn't. Notice what she said. According to the Carfax she has, it hasn't. I'm going to tell you something about the Carfax thing. And this has happened to me twice. One time I went to get a Volkswagen Passat. I think it was a station wagon, I think. No, I think it was it doesn't matter, it was a Passat. Anyway, the price of this Passat was like way up there. And I'm like, something wrong. Then I had to look. The car I drove was a 1.8T. The Carfax they gave me was for a GX, whatever the hell it was. It was a V6. And it actually said V6 on the Carfax. And I tell them, this ain't the same car. He go, oh, yes it is. Look, yes it is. No, that car there is a 1.8 turbo. This is the V6. He was like, let me go talk to my manager. And another time that happened with a BMW. The guy comes show me a Carfax talking about how much the BMW is worth. I'm looking at the price. I'm like, this price is too much. Then I had to look at the paper. The car I test drove was I think it was a 06 BMW 535i. I think it was automatic. The Carfax he showed me was for a 550i BMW, you know, and I'm like, dude, this ain't even the same car. Oh, yes it is. See, it's a BMW 5 Series. Sir, that car outside is not a 550. That car is a 535. This is a 550. It was a 540. It was a 550 or a 545. The point was, it wasn't a 535. I know that, you know. But, you know, they try that crap to trick people who don't know any better. You know, they see this right here and they assume I don't know nothing about BMWs. I don't know much about them now because I don't keep up with them. But back then, I kept up with them. But anyway, this is Dre. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. And you all, hope you enjoyed the video. Bye. Plain water. Dre, y'all have a good day.